Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Stanley. I'm here with Wes Warren. Wes and I are both field consultants. We put on meetings, but at times there's changes that create the need to address specific topics. Today, we want to talk about the problem of hiring. A doctor just contacted me yesterday, longtime client, wanted to know how's everybody doing? And I'd say everybody that can get staff is doing pretty good. So we're going to talk to Wes about what he's doing in the field, in the trenches, to fill these offices with viable staff.
My comment would be it is difficult. Anybody that's saying that it's not is either lying or living in some kind of bubble utopia. Everywhere is a nightmare to hire. People are running ads and getting no response, or they're getting people that don't even have dental experience. Essentially, they can run an ad for 5 months and get nobody.
Some doctors live in fear of jacking up their pay to attract people, to either get them off the unemployment thing, get them off the couch, or to get them out of another office or, whatever, that it will infect the rest of the office with a desire for more pay.
Yeah, that's a big problem because that's what it's boiling down to is you got a lot of people on unemployment, not wanting to come to work. You got a lot of people who retired a few years earlier than they normally would have. They just said, hey, maybe now's a good time to retire. And they did. And so it's created this environment where I foresee for the next about until uninsurance runs out in September, hopefully October, November, it start to get easier to hire. So this is just for now, but a lot of people, they lose a hygienist, they got to hire a new one. And it leaves us having to know how to solve this problem. And like Greg said, you can't bring somebody in $3 more an hour than the people you've got.
It's even a problem if you bring them in at the level
Yeah.
your 15-year person is at.
Yeah, it's a problem. So first and foremost is you got to run the ads in the popular places. Usually it's Indeed tends to be the number one spot across the country to run the ads. And you've got to be competitive with your pay ranges. In other words, it's got to at least be in the zone. If you are kind of that $2 to $3 behind, I would not put it in the ad. I would put in a signing bonus. I'm big on signing bonuses right now to actually pay the person that $2 to $3 only for 1 year. And then it resets back to regular pay. So let's give an example. $17 an hour employee, but to hire somebody, it's really got to be more like $20 an hour. Well, a $3,000 signing bonus covers that spread. So I'd hire them for $17 an hour with a $3,000 signing bonus. Now that signing bonus is paid out over the year and typically in chunks every 4 months. So $1,000 every 4 months.
One of the things that does for you is it buys you time to gently raise your fees to offset this. That way, if the staff gang rushes you, hey, you paid her this, we want this. If you can spread that out, raise your fees, you can absorb it.
The big thing is you've got to get resumes. You got to get people to talk to you. And this is how we've been able to solve the problem without really spending a lot more per person is through a signing bonus. I've seen 1,000, I've seen 2,000, I've seen 3,000. So for like hygienists, it's probably got to be more like 3,000. But for assistants, front desk, it could be 1,500, gets the job done. But really, it's whatever gets you resumes. And you have to have demand in the office, a serious need for an employee to want to have to do this. And a lot of you that are listening because you have a serious need. You need to hire somebody.
In your heart, if you had that person, you'd be producing 20,000 more a month.
Right. It's a disaster if you lose certain people. And we're seeing a lot of poaching going on this way. And so you could be losing people that normally you wouldn't lose just because they're getting paid just so much more to go somewhere else. The other keys that I've learned is that you've got to be very, very quick in this process. From the time you get that resume, you've got to respond that same day. What's normal in dentistry, you kind of get a few resumes and 3 or 4 days go by, and then you respond, and then there's a little lag, and then you do a phone tag, and then you do a phone interview, then you have them down, and then you even want to do a working interview. That whole process can last 2 weeks. In this environment, it's got to be extremely fast. So you get a resume, you respond back, you call them that day and do a phone interview. You bring them in to do an interview and a working interview all wrapped in one. 3-hour working interview with, or a skills assessment, whatever you want to call it, with the formal interview all at once, and then make an offer at the end of the day.
There was such a taboo before, when we'd end up with a bad person, we'd say, oh, I hired too fast. Well, you got to get good at this, and you can't wait around. Some people were thinking, if I just wait a couple weeks, it'll become clear that this is a great person, or that she was hiding something and now I know not to hire her.
Yeah, what else are you going to learn?
Yeah.
You've already done the interview, you already had them do a working interview. What else are you going to learn by waiting? Make the decision and hire them. But that's the process that's working right now. To get through it all, before you can even get them in to do the formal interview, they've already accepted somewhere else.
It's out there now on signs. I'm seeing it says hiring, as in right now.
Yeah, like walk in and start working. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how you got to be. It's got to be a lot quicker. You cannot lag and wait. You'll lose too many people that way. And then as far as getting the resumes, it's really about getting the money right, unfortunately. So if you do pay well in your office, put it in the ad. If it is competitive.
An advantage that you have in this market, it's always seen as a disadvantage, but it's an advantage now. This idea of hiring outside of dentistry. If you did it, you learned the hard way that you need more intelligent people. You need people that are super bright. Well, those people are all working in big corporations, and they weren't available to small practices. Well, now with some extra money, or maybe not even so much, a will train ad would give you a chance to look at some pretty sharp resumes.
Oh, absolutely. If the office is geared to actually train people,
yeah,
obviously this is the time.
This is your time, because for not too much money, you could get a person that could be running a medium-sized business.
Yeah, and I'm big on signing bonuses. If you can't do that, if you got to hire within the industry, because I believe the pay is going to come back down. As people come off of unemployment, you're going to see that pressure fighting for employees really change in our favor, let's put it that way. So do not set in stone this new pay rate. So signing bonus, it's only for 1 year, and then it goes back down to what's normal.
Okay, what if a staff person says, who's working for you, she got a signing bonus. Should I quit and come back and get a signing bonus?
If you quit, we're not going to hire you back. They just got to get over that. Most offices, I haven't run into an issue there. I haven't run into an issue yet. But certainly you got to keep your people happy. So if you haven't given the yearly raise, if people are due raises and you've been holding off, now's the time to do it. Make your people happy. Be a little bit more generous, because I'm seeing a lot of people leave. A lot of good people leave for not just a few dollars more an hour, quite a bit, where they have to, almost. Please, if you haven't done a raise in a while, this is the time to do it, because you can't afford to lose people.
I'd like to add that it's possible, and you need to get yourself mentally ready for this, that when people do come back and they kind of want to be hired, and all right, we've used signing bonuses, we're working through that. If inflation becomes a real big issue, which it could, and people want more money, we've got to be ready to raise our prices and move forward.
Right.
I know you're thinking, well, insurance won't pay higher prices. They'll ultimately be forced to do some, but that can send us into another topic for another time.
Yeah, a lot of things happen with inflation. One of it, you can raise your fees. But like you said, insurance is going to still be slow to do that. But people are walking around with more money. So the likelihood is that they'll want to actually do more dentistry.
Right.
So you'll have better, easier case acceptance. I thought a lot of people were shocked after COVID how good case acceptance really was. because people were walking around with more money. Our offices that we deal with are hitting records left and right. Yeah, inflation, although you might not be able to raise the fees accordingly, the amount of money in circulation also works in your favor too.
Well, we've talked about this for a long time. It might be appropriate to start looking at more lucrative procedures. Yeah, that some specialists were doing that you might be able to learn how to do very well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're big on that.
Yeah.
Sedation, even implants, doing your own endo, something that gives you an edge.
Get good at it. Have bigger cases where it's not about a super common commodity pricing, but like molar endo, something. We're not that many people do it.
Okay, thanks for listening. For those of you that are really struggling with this hiring thing and want to talk to us and figure out exactly your situation and kind of want to know how to navigate it and what you should do, we're certainly open to take a few phone calls. We'll allow 5 people to schedule and talk with Greg and myself over the next week about this particular issue and hopefully try to solve it for you so that you can kind of get through this time period.
Right. Call Whitehall, talk to Lori. I'm sitting here looking at our schedule, and 5 would be generous, Wes. So she tried to work 5 in.
You can just schedule online or you call Lori.
Thank you.